I am going 6-0 in the division because the rest of the division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori. Take that step back. We are seeing the true quarterback that he really is, which he is not a very good quarterback.
Welcome to the Man Now, where we taking over. It's time to give you them facts. Won't miss a game or two, cause we here for you and we reporting all of them stats. We coming to you live to keep you updated. Broadcast across the country, we the fan favorite. Break the volume to the max and don't nobody touch it. We crossing topics off the list, addressing every subject. So if you ain't got a clue, then you can tune in and give it 24 hours and we back again. Breaking news, new scoops, we the top dogs. From the fields to the courts, we report it all. Buzzer beat us through your speakers, we the ones to call. Trust us for the news if it's got a ball. Giving you the top stories cause we love the turf. Tell a friend to tune in and where you heard it first. Yeah, you're listening to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them stats. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them facts. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them facts. Turn the speakers up a little loud. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them stats. Cause you listen to the Man Hour.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page, as we do got new merch dropping each and every month over there at manhournation.com. Actually, it's manhourradio.com, I should say. Also, we got the forums happening over there as well, so if you guys want to become a part of Man Hour Nation, simply head over to the forums right there and enter it in. It is a great time over there on the old interwebs. Also, guys, we do have Mr. Wayne G coming up with us tonight with That's Debatable here in about 30 minutes here on the Man Hour. So Wayne G will be joining us here momentarily. We are going to talk a lot of sports. We're going to talk Odell Beckham Jr. We're going to talk Adam Anderson, a University of Georgia linebacker. Talk a little bit of Tyrod Taylor. And who else we got? We got Deshaun Jackson. There's a lot of stuff that is happening here at Man Hour Nation. And Don says, good evening, boys. Don, what is up? Is glad to see you in the chat here. We have not seen you for a few days, so I am glad you are back here chatting us up here on the old Man Hour gang here. I am flying solo here for the first 30 minutes, as I once said here. Wayne G will be joining here momentarily with That's Debatable. But before we get into carried away to the show whatsoever, guys, if you are new here at youtube.com/manhour, consider subscribing to the channel and, of course, liking it and sharing this with a couple of friends as well. And if you're getting any value at all, definitely hit that like button over and over and over, or go over it again. What's going on, Alpha Rob? Is good to see you in the chat as well. Hopefully, guys, we get a good gang tonight, because we are going to talk about one of the most overrated wide receivers in all of the NFL, and that is Odell Beckham Jr. That's right, you guys heard it. Most overrated wide receiver in all of NFL. Why do I say that? What has Odell Beckham Jr. done since the catch? He's been injured and been basically a cancer on a team, and it is showing that his cancer side is coming out once again. He was excused from practice for the second straight day here on Thursday afternoon from Cleveland Browns practice, obviously. So if you guys have not seen the video, I will post a link in the description post-show here. But Odell Beckham Sr., which is Odell Jr.'s dad, posted a Instagram video of basically when times that Odell Beckham Jr. has been wide open and Baker either overthrows him or just doesn't throw the ball to him, and basically causing a bunch of controversy. So the question has to be asked here, has to be posed. Has Odell Beckham Jr. played his last snap in Cleveland as a Cleveland Brown? Answer that question is absolutely yes. Odell Beckham Jr. will not put on a Browns uniform again for the rest of the season, probably for the rest of his career. Let's just be flat out honest about it, because Odell Beckham Jr. just isn't that good. And we saw it last year when Odell Beckham Jr. went down with that ACL injury. The Browns were a mediocre team at best. They were struggling right around that 500 range, and they were looking very suspect, looking very like a lot of holes in it. It almost appeared that Baker Mayfield was forcing the ball to Odell, and the offense just wasn't flowing, wasn't very fluid. Once Odell Beckham Jr. goes out, where do we see the Cleveland Browns? We see them in the playoffs. We see them as a great team. We see them going up and down the field at will. The play calling was good. The running was good. Baker Mayfield was playing at an elite level, all because Odell Beckham Jr. wasn't on the field. The minute Odell Beckham Jr. came back, what happens? This team just doesn't perform when Odell Beckham Jr. is on the team or on the field. Whether it is I don't know what it is. Like whether it's Baker trying to force him the ball, whether it's his off the field antics, whether it's chirping him, whether he's chirping like in the like in the huddle. Oh, I was open. I was open. But truth be told, guys, the Cleveland Browns are better without Odell Beckham Jr. on the field, and it's shown. It has shown time after time after time again. Let's flash back to week 1 of the NFL season. Did Odell Beckham Jr. play that game? No. They went toe to toe with the Kansas City Chiefs. At the time, the Kansas City Chiefs were the Kansas City Chiefs. So right, they were back-to-back Super Bowl appearances, 3-time AFC like appearances game, right? Back-to-back AFC championship games. They were looking like a very, very good team. And yes, Baker probably lost him that game, very last play of the game, but they haven't done crap since. They have been struggling offensively since Odell Beckham Jr. has been back, and that shows it. I mean, shows you that Odell Beckham Jr. is not good on the Cleveland Browns. Alpha Rob says the guy hasn't done anything since 2015, 2016. Yeah, you are 100% correct. Ever since he made the catch, right? What has he done for you? Yes, you can say he's had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in New York. Who did the New York Giants have? They had absolutely nobody at their wide receiver core. Like, was Golden Tate there? I don't think even Golden Tate was there yet. Like at the time. So I mean, obviously Odell Beckham Jr. was a guy, and when you get 100+ targets, and you are bound to get 1,000 yards. I mean, it's just that is just the way it is. Now I see many people on Twitter and Facebook and etc. saying that, well, Odell Beckham Jr. isn't happy because he was on the trading block. He was this, and this. I never formally heard that Odell Beckham Jr. was on the trading block. Now, there were rumors, but there's always rumors, right? I mean, teams are always listening to what you're going to offer for players, right? That's just the way it is. I guarantee you somebody probably called the Dallas Cowboys about Tony Pollard. Hey, what would you get for Tony Pollard? Do you think that's going to affect his play come Sunday? Absolutely not. When they play the Denver Broncos, no. Tony Pollard is still going to be out there, going to be a professional, and like he is going to do well. So now, with all that being said, when you guys are on a trading block or something like that, like publicly on a trading block, and a team doesn't really deny it, I guess in the back of your head, you are kind of like, well, do they really want me here? Do they really want to like see me succeed? Do they really want me to do this, and this? And I mean, of course, it could cause some truancy and you not to show up to work, but this is different from an actual job. This is a professional job. You're getting paid $1 million to catch a damn ball, which he's dropping 10% of his passes right now, which is the 12th highest in the league right now. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Even though he has, quote, one of the best hands in the NFL. But with that being said, Odell Beckham Jr. just needs to grow up and get over it, guys. I don't care if he's on the trading block, whether he is injured, not injured, proposing to a kicking tee, gay, transsexual. I don't care. Come up and perform your job and just do it, man. So it's just stupid at the end of the day that Odell Beckham Jr. is even thinking about, oh, they don't want me, I'm going to cry like a little bitch. Well, you are being a little bitch. Let's just be flat out honest. Drew, what's going on there, big guy? I had some more notes here. Oh, here it is. Sorry. I can read now, guys. I'm so excited. I can read. I took notes. So earlier today, when Baker Mayfield was asked about the whole Odell Beckham Jr. saga, everything that was happening and his dad and like all this stuff, and Baker Mayfield said, and I quote, if Odell Beckham Jr. is back on the field, we will work through it. I will put my ego aside because all I care about is winning. Let's read between those lines there, guys. Okay, keyword there is if. If Odell Beckham Jr. is back on the field, we will work through our differences. If. Basically, that means that everybody and their dog knows that Odell Beckham Jr. is out in Cleveland. See you later, alligator, after wild crocodile. Don't let the door hit you with the good Lord split you, right? All that good stuff. Right there. If. Key word here. Second part of this statement, this quote, if he is back, we will work through it. I am willing to throw away my ego to win games. Now, let's break that down. Baker Mayfield says he is willing to throw aside his ego to win games. Have you guys ever seen Odell Beckham Jr. have an ego on the NFL field? I'll wait. In college, yes. In college, yes, when he jacked off to the Jayhawks, which I still love, because screw Kansas every chance you can get. But on the NFL field, have you ever seen Baker Mayfield have an ego? Absolutely not. Baker Mayfield has probably been one of the most humblest guys in the NFL if you want to get downright to it. So he was directing that toward Odell Beckham Jr. Throw away your damn ego and let's go win some football games. Throw away your ego and let's go win a Super Bowl. We have a Super Bowl team right here. We've shown it the first 4 weeks of the season. Ever since you came back and demanded the ball and became your drama ego self, Odell Beckham Jr., we have sucked. You are a cancer on this team, and it is showing. Throw away that ego. Let's go win in some games. And then in the offseason, if you want to go to Green Bay, if you want to go to New Orleans or Rams or wherever, you do what you got to do, man, and you go live your dream. But right now, you are a Cleveland Brown. Throw away that ego for 10 more weeks, right? And let's go win us a goddamn championship. That's what Baker Mayfield is saying. So when I say, and I quote, if he is back, meaning Odell Beckham Jr., we will work through it. We need to throw away our egos and win some games. Or sorry, I will throw away my ego to win games because winning is more important to me. Baker Mayfield, you have earned my respect by this statement, even though it was directly toward Odell Beckham Jr. Point to it, like, look, Odell, stop being a bitch. Stop being a daddy's boy. Daddy, they won't throw me the football. Daddy, they won't throw me the football. Oh! Suck it up, man. Who freaking cares at the end of the day? Nobody cares about you. Except for my fantasy team. I have you on my fantasy team, which was a complete mistake. Cut your ass this morning. Bada bing, bada boom. See you later, alligator. Right? Now, what are the Cleveland Browns going to do with Odell Beckham Jr.? Obviously, the trade deadline is over, so you cannot trade him to any team, right? I mean, you can trade him in the off season when the season's over and like after the Super Bowl and all that stuff. And right now, the way the Browns are constructed, the way the Browns are playing, they're not going to go to the freaking playoffs. So they're going to get a pretty good draft pick like at this current pace that they're in. But let's say the Cleveland Browns outright release Odell Beckham Jr. He's like, you know what? You have played your last snap in Cleveland as a Brown. Get out of here. You do what you want. And Odell Beckham Jr. goes through the waivers process, etc. Where does he land? Where does he fit? I have 4 teams written down here that would probably chomp at the bits to get a player like Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I'm not saying Odell Beckham Jr. is a great receiver. Go ahead and put that asterisk by the ride. Now, I think he's highly overrated, and he is living off of his catch from 2012. Right, that's all he has done. But team number 1 that comes to mind is the New Orleans Saints. Why do the New Orleans Saints come to mind? Because of Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas has been ruled out for the rest of the season with that ankle injury, and Michael Thomas has kind of been a player that wants to get out from New Orleans anyway. So that's probably why he has not been taking his rehab as serious, right? So probably saying, Odell Beckham Jr. to the Saints would be a good pick. I've actually been saying that for most of the season because, the whole Michael Thomas injury. Number 2 here are the LA Rams. If you guys have not heard, they have released Deshaun Jackson, which was their deep threat guy, even though we'll be talking to him later in the show here. Deshaun Jackson hasn't done a lot for the Rams, but a player like Odell Beckham Jr. that still does have that deep threat capability and good hands, he could definitely thrive on a team like the Rams because there is a quarterback, Matthew Stafford, there that will put him in check. There is a team like the LA Rams that will put Odell Beckham Jr. in check. If they're seeing any signs of cancer from him whatsoever, he is out the door. I guarantee you that. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers. Yes, the Green Bay Packers have a lot of receivers on their roster as is. Like they got like obviously Adams and Lazard, and the list goes on and on and on. But I think Odell Beckham Jr. would be a great number 3 or number 2 in Green Bay. And exactly what I said about the Rams, they have that structure, they have that team, they have Aaron Rodgers out that would put a player like Odell Beckham Jr. in check. Make sure he does not get out of line and start causing a cancer. Now, this team kind of came up to me last minute here because of we know the whole situation with the Ruggs thing and whatnot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But obviously the Las Vegas the Las Vegas Raiders would obviously, probably chomp at the bits to get a player like Odell Beckham Jr. as well. However, I do not think Odell Beckham Jr. would thrive in Las Vegas like he would in LA or Green Bay. Also, one other place that he might fit well in is Miami. Miami just needs that notoriety guy to really, spread out the offense a little bit. Obviously he would not thrive there very well as well. So the 3 teams that I think he would thrive really well in is New Orleans Saints, the LA Rams, of course, the Green Bay Packers. Now, I did see some comments roll through here with some other choices that Drew was saying. Drew was saying Houston. Odell Beckham Jr. to Houston. Odell Beckham Jr. to Houston. That is absolutely a train wreck way waiting to happen, Drew. Think about this. Their franchise guy, J.J. Watt, wanted out of town. Deshaun Watson wants out of town. Brandon Cooks, their only receiver left, wants out of town. What makes you think that Odell Beckham Jr. would not be worse than what he was in New York those final couple years? Like, that is a disaster waiting to happen. Odell Beckham Jr. to Houston would not make any sense to me whatsoever. It definitely wouldn't keep Deshaun Watson in town because I feel that Odell Beckham Jr. needs a veteran quarterback presence like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, those type of players to really solidify the movement moving forward. Then the other team actually said the Philadelphia Eagles. I didn't think about that. The Philadelphia Eagles would kind of make sense a little bit, but at the same time, the Philadelphia Eagles do not have that. They don't have that structure that Odell Beckham Jr. needs to succeed. They have a second-year quarterback that's kind of fumbling around. They have, I believe it's a rookie head coach, if I'm not mistaken. It's like at least his first year, I think. If I'm thinking off the top of my head, right? But either way, the Philadelphia is probably more of a dumpster fire than the Houston Texans are, simply because the Philadelphia Eagles, they kind of expect to be good, even though they're freaking horrible. Odell Beckham Jr. would be worse than what he is in Houston and Miami or anywhere else. Like, him and Philly would be terrible just because I believe it was Graham Wallace. No, it was Luke G said that Philadelphia has the worst fans in all of America. So across all major sports, Philadelphia has the worst fan base per Luke G. If Odell Beckham Jr. drops his 10% of the balls that he is doing right now, he is going to get booed out of town. Hell, he may not even make it home half the time. So I don't know, like about that, Drew. And then he says both Brady and OBJ. That comment's kind of coming in slow here. There it is. Both Brady and OBJ have mentioned in the past they would love to play together. Wow. So Odell Beckham Jr. to Tampa Bay. Do they even have room to have another receiver there? I mean, they already got Evans, they got Goodwin, they got Antonio Brown, they got Gronk. They got the other tight end, OJ, what's his name? You can mention you can try to put all this all-star team you want together that you want, but at the end of the day, Odell Beckham Jr. is 29 years old. He still thinks he has a lot of left in the gas tank, and going to Tampa is not probably a very good choice for him because he would not get the ball as much as he'd like. I mean, right now he is bitching about getting the ball 8 times in Cleveland. How many times do you think he would get the ball in Tampa? I don't know, 5, 4, if he even saw the field. Do you think Odell Beckham Jr. is better than any of those 3 receivers that I listed there? Mike Evans, Godwin, or Antonio Brown? No, I would probably even take that short little white dude over like over him. I forget his name all the time, so we'll call him White Dude. The white dude that absolutely torched the Packers in the right before halftime, right? Odell Beckham Jr. would be a 5th receiver on that team, Drew. There is no way right now that Odell Beckham Jr. would even survive in Tampa because he would be, oh, give me the ball. Dude, we don't need you. Get out of here with that crap. So, guys, we are up against the break here. We are going to take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, we got the infamous Wayne G with That's Debatable. Always excited to talk to Wayne G from Infinity Sports at SportsInfinity5 on Twitter machine. If you guys are on Twitter, be sure to follow him, like his content, and share it as well. We'll be right back, guys, here on the Man Hour. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeister here. If you'd be most inclined, head over to manhourradio.com and check out the new merchandise page. The Beastie Burst has dropped. Also, the forums are starting up there as well. So we have a couple people in there getting active. We're trying to grow the community over there. And speaking of part of the community, we do have the infamous Wayne G from Recast 2.0 podcast. This is a pulp culture podcast that he just launched, about a month ago, Wayne or so?
Oh, it's a long story. Yeah, we actually launched, I want to say, a couple years ago, took a little bit of a break, and we came back. So it was recasted. Now it's recasted 2.0.
All right, so tell the people what Recasted 2.0 is all about.
Yeah, if you're a big movie fan, which obviously if you follow my That's Debatable, I always have some sort of a movie category, right? Basically what we do is we take movies that are at least 20 years old, and then we recast them in 2021 like, they're going to be remade. And so, like, we just recently did Back to the Future. We've done The Big Lebowski. So if you like The Matrix, so if you like any of those movies, you can see who we recasted. We usually put it up for a vote, and you can vote on whose cast is better, mine or Jesse's, it's always mine.
Yeah, and so if you guys do not know, this Recasted 2.0 podcast is ranked at number 7 in the top 100. What was the category again? I'm sorry.
After shows. So I'm
After
guessing
show.
that's like after a show, people talk about shows. But
Yeah,
Sure.
So there you go. It is ranked number 7 in after shows by Good Pod. So I mean, definitely doing great work all over there. And guys, be sure to follow him on Twitter at Recasted Podcast on Twitter. So Wayne, before we get too carried away, tell people what That's Debatable is all about here on the weekly segment.
Sure. So just because I'm not doing Infinity Sports doesn't mean I'm not debating people all day long. So I come up with topics that are sports related and maybe one pop culture one in there that is debatable, and I give my take on it and I let other people talk about it as well.
All right. So with that being said, we do have 5 topics lined up for tonight. So what is the first topic that we have?
The first topic here is one of my least favorite athletes in the history of sports. Adrian Peterson is going to be signing with the Tennessee Titans, most likely going to hit the starting lineup probably the next couple weeks. And before all you geeks go and grab him for your fantasy teams, let me tell you the truth. Adrian Peterson should have been banned from football about 5 or 6 years ago after he beat his 2-year-old bloody.
Yeah. So this is a very debatable topic just because let's look at the Dallas Cowboys for example, Wayne. They have a person that beat his wife on multiple times, but for some reason the cases always got dropped or dismissed or not, or she didn't show up for court. His name's slipping my mind right now, but he was a defensive end. Now I think he's a USC fighter now. But then we have the offensive lineman for the Seahawks that just strangled his fiance and basically left her for dead. I'm sure he'll be back in the NFL as well, probably as soon as next year. And let's look at the most recent thing, Henry Ruggs. He'll probably serve 18 months, 2 years in jail, probably tops. He'll get probation, and then he'll be back in the NFL as well. The NFL is all about second chances over and over and over again. Now, Adrian Peterson did beat his son, and I don't remember the full story off the top of my head, but I think he said to told his son to go do something, and his son basically said no, and he beat him till he bled with like a stick. Was it a little excessive? Yes. Was strangling your wife to death or like almost to death and leaving her to like die a little excessive? Yes. Was driving 156 miles an hour drunk excessive? Yes. So the NFL is all about second, third, fourth chances. As long as they can make money off of you, you are going to get a chance. So he should not be banned at all.
Well, like you just said, that if they can make money off of you, if you can still produce and do something for them, then they're about second chances. But if you're Colin Kaepernick or Tim Tebow or Cam Newton or somebody who can't play, you don't even have to do anything wrong. They won't give you a second chance because you can't play. So that's the thing that I hate. I hate that these guys come in there. They have talent. You were mentioning Greg Hardy is the guy you were thinking of.
Yeah.
Greg Hardy was the guy that like beat his girl and like smashed her head into a wall and like threw her on like a bed full of guns and all this other stuff. And then the Dallas Cowboys went out and signed him because he had uber talent. I'm like, don't give these people a chance. Listen, nature needs to depopulate the population a little bit. These are the people we can start with. Don't give them a second chance to make millions of dollars. They shouldn't be allowed to go get a job bagging groceries.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying to an extent, but let's bring up the whole Colin Kaepernick thing. The NFL set up a tryout for Colin Kaepernick, and then at the very last minute, he's like, no, I want to do it at some local high school or something. And I think only like 3 or 4 scouts showed up because it was like a very last second change. I mean, the NFL has given Colin Kaepernick all the chances in the world to come prove to the NFL that he is a good player. But let's just be honest, his last year or his last 2 seasons as an NFL quarterback, I think he won 2 games. Like, God, I don't have the stats in front of me here, but he was like 34th or 35th in passing and passing and rushing and wins and like all that stuff. He was a very bad quarterback his last season and as a San Francisco 49er. So Colin Kaepernick is kind of an obsolete statement here, I think.
Well, I mean, he had a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That's 16-4 on the season, his last season. So, I mean, that's not exactly horrible. That means, he's going to throw 4 touchdowns before he throws a pick, which is great. And I personally, I'm not a huge fan of his. I wouldn't sign him either. So I'm not trying to make a case to bring Colin Kaepernick back.
Right.
I'm just saying that this is a guy who can't get a second chance. And what I mean by that is Phillip Rivers recently came out and said, you know what, I think I might want to play quarterback still. And he's not going to have to hold a tryout at a high school. He's just going to get signed to a team. So that's what I mean by not getting that second chance. Colin Kaepernick, I agree, he's not that good.
Right.
But if he was, he could murder puppies and get a second chance.
Well, and then you also bring up Tim Tebow. He actually had a third or fourth chance now. Like he actually got signed in as a tight end as for the Jaguars. He just didn't make the cut. So, I see what you're saying. Obviously, if the talent is going to win you games, give him a second, third, fourth chance here. But Adrian Peterson, let's make it come back full circle here a little bit by saying he should be banned from the NFL. Look what Ray Lewis, didn't Ray Lewis get accused of murder or something, or was it
obstruction of justice?
Okay, so and he ended up having a Hall of Fame career. This is his second year in the NFL. When that happened, how about when who was the Colts wide receiver that shot a guy in his car wash for talking to his wife all funky? It was it was Marvin Harrison. He shot a guy in his car wash, his second or fourth year in the NFL. Ended up having a Hall of Fame career, right? We see it all the time. People make mistakes, and the NFL consistently gives them second, third, fourth chances. What has Adrian Peterson done besides discipline his kid a little too far?
Well, that's all he's done, actually. And I'm actually not advocating for Adrian Peterson to get shunned and for everybody else to get a second chance. Marvin Harrison shouldn't have gotten one. Ben Roethlisberger shouldn't have gotten one. Whoever. These people who Greg Hardy shouldn't have gotten one. If you are a violent criminal or you are somebody who ruins other people's lives, and by violent criminal, except we talk about discipline. I've had this argument all the time about Adrian Peterson disciplining his kids and being from the South and it's different down there and all that jazz, right?
Right.
His kid pushed his other kid, one of his 14 that he has. His kid pushed his other kid, and so he put the kid over his lap, shoved leaves in his mouth to keep him quiet, grabbed a switch, and whipped him about 30 or 40 times until he had lashes on his private parts and his legs until they were covered in blood.
Right.
So not exactly spanking with a belt,
Yeah, I am not advocating that was not a little excessive at all. I've been spanking with the belt, and the belt has wrapped around and got my front of my thigh, and I thought I was going to die, but I deserved it 100%. But so you think by him spanking his kid 30 to 40 times, let me reiterate, a little excessive. I don't know how it got to the private parts, because if he's I guess if you're under the leg, maybe it pushes up a little bit, and maybe that's how it got. I don't know, but people go too far all the time, right? How about the who was the Ravens linebacker that just got shot in a at a club? I've his name slipped a moment. Yeah, but so let's say people put themselves in those in those wrong spots. You go to a club in the hood where there's going to be guns and there's going to be violence. Should they be shunned from the NFL too?
If they're victims or if they're perpetrators?
Usually when people get shot when you're an NFL player, it's usually just not you were just at the wrong spot at the wrong time. Usually it's some type of what's the word I'm looking for? Antagonizing it, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you didn't pull a gun, I don't think you should be anyone going down the rabbit hole here, but I don't think that anyone should get shot for running their mouth. And so my whole thing is that if you're an NFL player and you run your mouth at somebody like, hey, you're poor and I have lots of money and I'm going to pay your girl to sleep with me and she will or whatever, that does not give you the right to shoot that person, And
True.
And so, yeah, I don't think those players should be banned from the NFL. I'm saying people who, if the player did the shooting, then yes, that player should probably be banned from the NFL. I don't believe in giving people second chances if they're horrible human beings. And I'm not talking about like people, listen, if you get a speeding ticket, I'm not saying you should get banned from the NFL, but I'm saying if you get drunk and you go 156 miles per hour and you kill somebody, then, maybe not get a second chance.
What if you shoot yourself in the leg in the Super Bowl party? Should you be banned from the NFL?
So in that case, I would not have banned Plexico Burress for being a dummy. He just, but that was the state of New York. I mean, he wasn't allowed to carry that in there, and the discharge cost him 2 years or a year and a half in prison. That wasn't the NFL. He was allowed to come back as soon as he got out of prison. So the NFL didn't ban him there. Michael Vick is another one, right? So Michael Vick went to prison for 2.5 years, and I think the NFL said, listen, you did 2 years at Leavenworth. What's the point in us piling on,
Right.
So I don't know. There's exceptions, I guess, but yeah, Adrian Peterson I wouldn't make an exception for, I guess.
So totally off topic here, but Henry Ruggs is the topic of choice here the last 3 or 4 nights. Like, obviously, you brought up Michael Vick. Do you think Henry Ruggs, let's say he serves 2.5 years in jail for what he did, does he get a chance in the NFL again, or did they pile on top of him?
I hope they pile on top of him. In fact, actually, I've gotten some debates on Facebook because I said that I hope he gets used as a sex doll for the next 2 years and kills himself in his cell.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. Wayne G from Recasted Podcast 2.0. Be sure to at him at Recast Podcast on the old Twitter machine. Wayne, topic number 2.
Number 2 is a fun one for all those fans out there, and I know you got a lot of them who aren't Patriots fans, but I am, and so I'm going to say this. Not only is Bill Belichick the best coach in the NFL, and nobody is even good enough to be mentioned as second place, but looking at what he's done through the drafts, getting guys like, Mac Jones, who's the best quarterback in the draft, getting a guy like Christian Barmore, who's right now the best interior defensive lineman from this draft, getting a guy like Ramondre Stevenson in like the 6th round, who's been very productive, undrafted free agents like J.C. Jackson, who's an all-pro, Jacoby Myers, who's fantastic. You look at his signings with Judon and Mills and the 2 tight ends he got. Bill Belichick is also the best GM in the entire NFL.
You see, this kind of goes both ways, a little bit, because Bill obviously has he's been at the Patriots for 20 years, right? 22 years. So Just him there alone, he has a legacy of work to bank on, right? But there are some up-and-coming GMs that are doing great work here, right? John Lynch from the San Francisco 49ers comes to mind. They have put a pretty damn good team together there. I think John Lynch has been there like 3 or 4 years. I think like his first big move was bringing Jimmy G in from the Patriots into the 49ers. The second name that kind of comes up to mind is Andrew Berry as well for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns were the laughingstock of the NFL for how long, right? He comes in and last 4 or 5 years, they've trusted the process, and they have built this Super Bowl caliber team. I believe it's like week 4, week 5. We were saying that the Cleveland Browns were probably one of the best teams in the AFC, and they were Super Bowl bound. Now, with that being said, those are only chapters for what Bill Belichick has done in the NFL. I mean, he has 24 years plus experience, right, as a head coach, general manager, whatever. He has that experience. He has that track record. So, as a Patriots guy, I know you're going to rip me apart on this, but I think right now, if we just do it for the last 4 years, let's just cut it back to the last 4 years, I think Andrew Berry is the best general manager in the NFL football the last 4 years. Now, over the whole span of the NFL, probably got to give it to Bill Belichick just because of what he's done.
I would say even in the last 4 years, just because of how consistent his teams have been. I mean, it's great that the Cleveland Browns went from the cellar to mediocrity. Fantastic achievement. But, the Patriots went to 9 Super Bowls, all because that Bill Belichick looks at people's trash cans, finds that diamond in every single one of them, and just is just so good at signing guys, drafting guys. I mean, nobody's 100%. He hits and he misses sometimes,
right?
But not a lot. I mean, this is a guy that he's going to put a team out there that is going to compete for the division every year, win the division every year up until last year, pretty much, and then is going to compete for a Super Bowl every year because of the things that he does. Look at Matthew Judon might be in the discussion for Defensive Player of the Year by the end of the season, and this was a guy that was probably his cheapest signing.
Right. So one of the biggest signings that I thought was a complete head scratcher was when Bill Belichick brought Randy Moss in from the Oakland Raiders at the time. Was that like 2006? I think he brought him in. He brought Randy Moss in for a 4th round pick. The Randy Moss for a 4th round pick. That next year, he set records for the Patriots. I believe you guys went 18-1 like the very next season, right? So, I mean, obviously he has a knack of seeing that kind of things. Now, let me ask you this question to kind of spin this around on you. Is it a knack of finding players, or does he just have that culture built there that I don't care who you are, when you come here, I'm going to get 110% out of you, or you are out of town, i.e. Antonio Brown?
Yeah, it's a combination. And to touch on Randy Moss, not only did he trade a 4th round pick to get Randy Moss, who then set all the receiving records the following year, then he traded Randy Moss for a 2nd round pick. So he ended up, again, great GMing. And one of the things that he does so well, like you're talking about, the culture. He built this culture in New England, but why he's the best GM is he knows what players will fit that culture. He knows who to draft. He knows who to sign that are going to buy in and come in. Every once in a while, he takes a flyer on somebody like a Reggie Wayne who comes in and says, oh, it's just not fun playing here because I can't take days off or whatever. Yeah. But like for the most part, he's getting guys who were team captains in college. That's who he's drafting because they're leaders. He's going out and finding guys who are like captains or co-captains of the defense or the special teams. He's huge on special teams. And, I mean, he's just so good at knowing who to plug in. Now, look at a guy, like you said, this guy in Cleveland, right? He doesn't really have a culture there yet. I mean, the culture was losing. Now they're medium, and how do you get somebody to buy into medium? You know what I mean? So he still hasn't built that culture. That's part of being a GM, I think, is bringing in guys who help build that culture around you. Yeah,
I mean, only time will tell if like John Lynch and Andrew Berry, or even like somebody like a Stephen Jones for the Cowboys, see if they can't have that sustained success like Bill Belichick has. But I don't think we will ever see anybody like Bill Belichick ever again, going to the 9 Super Bowls, winning six of them. And isn't he like the longest tenure head coach in the NFL right now as well? I mean, there is so much that Bill Belichick has going for him. Absolutely crazy. I mean, obviously you're a Patriots guy, so you are definitely pumping your chest like, yeah, we are back, right? Are you guys going to the playoffs?
Oh, absolutely. I said 11. I said 11-6 before the season started, and when they do, because I say when they do, Brandon has to spin the wheel to death twice. That was the deal.
There we go. Spin it twice. All right. Topic number 3.
Number 3, I've got. This is gonna be a hot take one. This is a Brandon like hot take. Speaking to Brandon, and that is Aaron Rodgers has played his last game in Green Bay. Because here's what's going to happen. He's out on the COVID thing, right, and Jordan Love's going to come in. He's going to have a great game against the Chiefs. They're going to give him another chance to have another great game. And at that point, they're like, this is the guy we drafted in the 1st round last year to take over for Aaron. Why delay any longer? We've seen what he can do. He can do it. You're on the bench.
Wayne, you're absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong on this point. Why? Because with Aaron Rodgers at the helm at the Green Bay Packers, they are a Super Bowl caliber team. If he performs half as good that they did when they played against the Arizona Cardinals last Thursday, you could almost mark them into the NFC Championship game right now, especially with a Adams back on the field and Lazard as well. This team is very, very potent. Now, every first start quarterback we have seen this year, that just like we don't have any tape on or like anything, they're bound to have a good game. Look at Mike White for the New York Jets. He threw for 400 yards, was the player of the week, and he had a great game, right? Week number 2, probably not going to be so much good. There's film on him. There's the weakness and strengths and like all that good stuff. Now, I'm not debating that Jordan Love will have a good game against the Kansas City Chiefs, who hasn't had a good game against the Kansas City Chiefs this season. My Kansas City Chiefs, yes. I don't think anybody has. Maybe the Ravens have maybe had like the worst game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they still won that game. With that being said, Aaron Rodgers does come back from the COVID list the Saturday before they play the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson is also scheduled to be back that week versus the Green Bay Packers when they play when they play each other that Sunday night game. Not this week, but the next week. Aaron Rodgers is going to start that game. There is so many storylines around that. Russ versus Rodgers, Rodgers versus Russ. Is this Russ's last time in a Seahawks uniform? Like, you cannot write this story anymore Hollywood like at all, Wayne. I mean, you are a pop culture podcast. You are Recast 2.0. You couldn't write a better movie than this. Russ coming back off his injury, Aaron Rodgers coming back off the COVID list. Both players had 1 day to practice. Let's do it. Aaron Rodgers is come on, man.
It is not going to be the end of the movie Major League for Aaron Rodgers. It is going to be the end of the movie Seven for him. What's in the box? Your career, pal. Pack it up and get out of here.
So you really think that Jordan Love is going to have such a great game versus Kansas City Chiefs Sunday afternoon that the Green Bay Packers are going to ride after all this offseason controversy that they've gone through, all this maskless plane rides that they're talking about? They're going to just throw that all away and be like, you know what, Jordan Love, we're riding with like you.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted Aaron to come back. I really don't think they did. And I think that this whole 1 year deal so he can be a free agent at the end of this year, yeah, just move on. You've got your quarterback of the future. That's why you gave him the 1 year deal, because you knew that come hell or high water, no matter what happens, Jordan Love is the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers all 16 games next year. So why not just get a head start on it and say, you know what, Aaron, where do you want to play? Who's willing to give us a second round, third round pick for, 10 games?
Wow. I don't know what to say, Wayne. I'm kind of taken back by that. So you are telling me Jordan Love is better than Aaron Rodgers right now on the Green Bay Packers?
I think that Jordan Love is the future of the franchise, not Aaron Rodgers, and I think that they're going to try to get a head start on it. It's not about who's better right now. That doesn't matter.
Right. I gotcha.
Because you only got him for 10 more games, so why not trade him, get something for him, and then just start your guy who you wanted to start in the first place?
I see what you're saying in like hindsight. And now, if you were a 1-7 team, that would totally make sense 100%. But you are 7-1. You are on the top of power rankings on most people's NFL power rankings going into week 9 here, right? There's absolutely no way they bench Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the season. Like, this is a Deshaun Watson 2.0. Let me ask you this. Do you want to keep Devontae Adams on your team like after this season?
Why would he stay after this season if Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be there after the season?
Well,
I mean, the two of them are tied together anyway. So is he really going to say, well, if Jordan Love's the starter next year, I'll stay. But if he's the starter this year, I'm out of here. It doesn't. He's not going to say that. And here's the reason you do it, even though they're on the top of the power rankings, is because it's all contingent on this game against the Chiefs, right? So if Jordan Love goes out there and throws 1 touchdown, 3 picks, then you're right. Aaron Rodgers comes in, he starts against Russell Wilson. But if Jordan Love goes out there and has a Mike White game, Aaron Rodgers' career is done in Green Bay.
Huh. I kind of like it. I mean, I like how you're going out on that limb, even though you're wrong and that limb is breaking very, 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 very hard. But that's tough saying. Topic number 4, man.
Yeah, number 4. This one's one I've kind of been beating a drum. I've added an extra element to it with the injury to Derrick Henry, which I predicted at the beginning of the season when we all sat down and talked about, running backs and why you shouldn't take them in the first round. I know Derrick Henry wasn't a first round pick, but I'll get to that. So I said you never take a running back in the first round. I don't care if it's Barry Sanders. I would say, nope, I'm going to take a shot at him at 33, but I'm not taking Barry Sanders at 30. And so I'm not taking any running backs in the first round, no matter who they are. Derrick Henry was a second-round pick, so this is where I'm doubling down. Never, ever give a running back a big contract. No matter what year he's in, no matter how good he's been, if he had 4 consecutive 2,000-yard seasons, you let him walk. Don't give a big contract to any running back no matter what.
Yeah, you are absolutely right on this 100%. Ever since the NFL has gone to their two-back system, right, where, like, you know, it is a 1-2 punch. It is Zeke and Tony Pollard, right? And then you look at Cleveland. It is Chubb and Hunt. I mean, running backs are a dime a dozen right now. Hell, I would even go as far as say is that you can draft a good, solid running back in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Just because if you look at it, even in the college ranks, they are starting to stay. They are starting to do a 2 to 3 back system there as well. There are so many running backs out there that there is absolutely no reason why to take him in the 1st round. Also, the shelf life of a running back, Wayne, is roughly about 6 years tops. So when you sign them to the rookie deal, it is usually a 4-year deal with that +1 if you choose. Right there is 3/4 of the running back's life. Why do you want to sign them to a $100 million deal, aka Dallas Cowboys and like Zeke? Stupid, right? You use and abuse the running backs the first 4 years of their career and let them rock, and then you draft the next guy the 3rd round. You are absolutely right on that, Wayne. 100%.
Yeah. Disposable, 3rd round draft pick. Let him play 4 years. Cut him. Get another 3rd round draft pick.
Yeah. And if you look at Derrick Henry, for example, his 2.5 years in the league, he was not very good. Let's just be honest. He was not Derrick Henry that we know right now. Now, that could be because of the play calling. It could be because of the offense, the quarterback situation, whatever you want to say it. But he did not really come to fruition until his 3rd year in the league. Now, 4th year, he was great. 5th year, he was pretty damn good, right? He ran for 2,000 yards. And this year, he took that injury, whether it is going to be a freak accident or whatever. He has miles on him. He touched the ball, 400 times last year. I mean, use and abuse him, let him go. Even if it's Derrick Henry. Yep. I couldn't agree more with that.
All right. And then I'd like to wrap things up with a pop culture one. This is a fun movie one that I had posted on Facebook. I'm going to give you 4 actors in 4 roles, iconic roles, by the way. But you have to tell me which one of these actors, because you have to remove one. Gun to your head, got to remove one of these actors. We've got Jack Nicholson as Colonel Jessup in A Few Good Men. We've got Heath Ledger as the Joker in The Dark Knight. We've got Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs. And we have Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh in No Country for Old Men.
So I have to remove the actor and replace him with somebody else, or just totally remove them?
Yeah, well, no, you can replace him with somebody else, but the point is one of these actors cannot play one of those roles.
Yeah, so obviously, when you think of the Joker, I think everybody thinks of Heath Ledger as Joker, right? I mean, he obviously did a pretty good job, right? And then obviously there's 7 Batman movies or something like that in there. I think there's a different Joker in every one. So it is not like he is a Joker symbol by any means, but I would have to remove Heath Ledger from the Joker just because I feel like he is replaceable. Just because it is not that face that because the face is painted white with the green, or it's a green or purple whatever.
Red lipstick, yeah, green
red lipstick, right? But either way, you can pretty much paint anybody's face on them, and pretty much any good actor would probably be just as good as Heath Ledger was in the Joker. So Heath Ledger out.
That is a horrible take. I'm going to tell you right now. So, because Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker is one of the greatest acting performances in history.
I don't dispute that at all, but I think he's replaceable.
Well, I mean, all actors are replaceable. I'm just saying that here's the thing: is Heath Ledger carried The Dark Knight. If you replace him, you're not going to get that movie carrying performance. And so, with nobody to carry the movie doesn't do as well. It kind of bombs. So that's why I kind of leave Heath Ledger there. Same like Javier Bardem carried No Country for Old Men. I think you take him out of that role and just that movie sucks. It's really not a good movie. But you watch it for Javier Bardem because he was genius in it. So that leaves, Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter or Jack Nicholson as Colonel Jessup. And again, Anthony Hopkins transcended that role. It was based on a book. And here's how crazy it was, is that after the author saw the movie, he started basing the sequels on Anthony Hopkins because of how good he played that role. You know, so it was just an incredible performance. He won Best Actor, even though he had 16 minutes of screen time in the movie. So that leaves Jack Nicholson, who, by the way, is the only one of these four who did not win an award for his performance. He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He did not win it. All three of the others won the Academy Award. So Jack's got to go.
Really? Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a very hard, hard choice. But I did not know that Jack Nicholson did not win an award for that one because Jack Nicholson has a plethora of like awards, and I just kind of assumed he won one for that. So I should have looked that up beforehand. I didn't even know that. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he was nominated in 1992, Best Supporting Actor, just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And my other take on it, too, is that if you took him out of this movie and replaced him with somebody else, the movie's still written by Aaron Sorkin, who's one of the greatest screenwriters of all time. It still has Tom Cruise, Kevin Bacon, Demi Moore, Kevin Pollak, Cuba Gooding Jr., Kiefer Sutherland, J.T. Walsh. The movie's going to be fine without Jack Nicholson. The other three movies need those actors to kind of carry the whole film.
I see what you're saying. But obviously, paint face goes a long ways too, right? I'm totally kidding. I just don't like the Batman. Like, I've never been a big fan of the Batman.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, to each of their own. I like all comic book movies. I mean, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And The Dark Knight, in particular, the Nolan Batman series, I think is great. And I think that I'm excited for Robert Pattinson to be the Batman in the upcoming film. But, yeah, I'm just excited. Heath Ledger absolutely lights out.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely very good, but I need to go back and watch Hannibal Lecter because it's been quite a long time since I've watched that. So Sandy will love me for watching that because she's a big scary movie buff guy. But before we let you go, Wayne, tell the people about your podcast that is number 7 ranked in the after show.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to hear us recast movies, basically remake movies, we're going to take the top 6 to 8 roles of the film, recast them in 2021. Check out Recasted 2.0. It's on all the platforms. And hit us up on Twitter at Recasted Podcast and give us some ideas of what movie you'd like us to recast.
All right, guys, that is Wayne G with Infinity Sports and Recast 2.0 podcast. Be sure to follow him on Twitter. We'll be right back, guys, here on the Man Hour. Stay tuned.
Hour Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding, protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour Radio. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. Of course, check out the forum section as well. Also, if you're on Twitter, be sure to follow me on Twitter at manhour_buck. And of course, follow the Man Hour Radio station as well at man_hour_radio. So guys, we are not doing a giveaway this week. I forgot to set it up. So next week we'll give away 2 giveaways. Next week I will let the points roll over for next week. So we'll give it away on Monday and Thursday. Next week we'll give it away 2 giveaways. We'll give away a beanie and a long sleeve t-shirt for next week. So guys, be sure to get those points signed in, and we'll get those 2 giveaways signed up for next week. Monday and Thursday next week, we'll be giving those away. Also, guys, if you are not done so already, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/manhour. And of course, hit that bell icon if you do upload clips each and every day over there, 3 days a week, 365 days a day, a year, 24 hours a day. I've been a little bit behind, so I've been kind of doing like a mass upload. So I apologize for that. I've been a little sick and then caught up with work and all that stuff. But we'll get back to our 3-hour schedule here moving forward here. But guys, it is time to get into some sports talk that I really don't like to get into, but it is something that needs to be said here. So, guys, sources they have released to the public here. I am reading this from ESPN.com, but Georgia has suspended their linebacker Adam Anderson after rape allegations. So obviously, Adam Anderson is the number 1 linebacker on the Georgia Bulldogs team. The Georgia Bulldogs are ranked number 1. He was projected to go pretty high in the draft as well. I've seen as high as 10th on him. But let me go ahead and read this story for you guys. Georgia has indefinitely suspended starting linebacker Adam Anderson, who has been accused of raping a woman, sources told ESPN on Thursday. Anderson is a senior from Rome, Georgia. Key here, he has not been arrested and denied the allegation through his attorney. But according to Athens-Clarke County Police Department Innocent report, a 21-year-old woman told police that she went to a house in Athens, Georgia between 12 a.m. and 7 a.m. So basically what has happened here is this girl met up with Adam Anderson, and they met up at the party. They were hooking up. They were saying they were having a good time. They went back to his house. So she said after having drinks, the woman said that she woke up while Anderson was raping her. Okay? She reported to the police later that day. Anderson did play in Georgia's 34-7 victory over Florida in Jacksonville, Florida on Saturday. So the investigation is still ongoing. Athens-Clarke County Police Lieutenant Sean Burnett told ESPN, no arrest or final determination either way has been made. But let's just be honest. This kid's career is absolutely over because of an allegation. So basically what happened was this girl and Adam Anderson, they had one too many drinks, more than likely. They went back to his house. They started fooling around in his bed, and she was drunk, and they probably started having sex, and she passed out, right? And then she came back, too. She's like, oh, no, what did I do? So this... breathe. Okay, every time this happens, when a woman makes a mistake, especially with a high-profile athlete like Adam Anderson is. Adam Anderson was set to make millions of dollars in the NFL. He was gonna go to a great NFL team and have a great career. He's a great linebacker. He is, and from the interviews that I see, he's a very well-spoken kid, very, very smart, very, very, very knowledgeable, very well-respected in the community. But when a woman makes a mistake like this young woman did, she was 21 years old, so she was drinking, having a good time, probably was excited that she was with this football player and like, hey, we're going to have babies, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But when the action took place, when they started to have sex, and then she wants to scream rape because she's like, oh my God, what'd I do? I made a mistake. Why does every time somebody makes a mistake, it has to be rape? Why does every time a young woman gets too drunk or whatever, or passes out as she says, like, it's always ends in rape. Let's flash back to, I don't know, was 2003 or 2004, the Baylor Bears guy. Every time we talk about this story, I always refer to that Baylor's Bear guy because he was going to be a top 10 pick, no doubt in my mind. He was going to be a beast on the NFL football field, and then this woman alleged that he raped her. 2 years later, she came out and said, oh, I was just pissed off at him because he didn't want to like be in a relationship. How long does it take before this happens here? Now, I want to give the woman the benefit of the doubt. I want to. But she said in her statement that she was drinking. She was drinking on Friday night and went to his house. So she subconsciously went to his house. You have to know what's going to happen when you go to when you go to somebody's house after a night of drinking and partying. You have to know. It's so stupid that she wants to claim that she got raped because, like, just because as a college athlete, guys, we go through classes like this. We go through times in our life like this. Like our coach sat us down at least once a month saying, hey, don't do this. Be in a relationship with somebody if you want to do this, this, and this, right? Or have a text message going back and forth saying that, hey, yeah, we're going to do this and this, just to cover your ass for this stupid shit right here. Because this woman had drinks. She was drunk, obviously, went to his house and they had sex, and now she wants to claim rape because they had sex. Does she want her 15 minutes of fame? She's got it. Did she ruin this guy's career? Absolutely. It's probably going to come out and say, oh, nothing happened here. So Wayne G comes out and says it comes down to if the act started before or after she fell asleep. Absolutely right, Wayne. It does come down to that fact. But at that point, it is all hearsay, right? I mean, obviously, he was going to say it was all consensual sex, and she's going to say no. So it's all hearsay at the end of the day. And let's just be honest. We live in a world where the man is always wrong. Now, I'm saying that because I know I'm going to get ridiculed for it, right? But let's throw a domestic violence like out there. Let's say me and my wife, we were having a fight. She punched me in the chest, and I'm just like, hey, whatever, right? She calls the cops, and or let's say not even she calls the cops. Let's say the neighbors call the cops, and they come in and they interview us, and we tell them exactly what happened, right? 9 times out of 10, I guarantee you, me as a man would be going to jail because of the altercation. The woman could literally beat the crap out of me. I could have black eyes, bloody lip, busted, whatever. She could have blood on her fingers, but yet I'm the man. I bet you I'm going to get arrested for it. Drew says it also depends if any other chemicals were involved. Are you referring to a date rape drug, Drew? So obviously if there's a date rape drug found in her system, obviously yes, Adam Anderson is going to go to jail for a very long time. I mean, I don't know what the date rape drug chemical is by any means, or even what the street name is for it, or the actual name. I don't know any of that stuff because I've never been around that. But let's just be honest. Let's be honest here, Drew. Adam Anderson is a football player for the University of Georgia, a starting linebacker for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. People know who he is. If he wants to have sex with somebody, he can get any girl he wants. He doesn't need to date rape anybody. Let's just be honest, Drew. You guys want live, raw, and uncut sports talk? Here it is. Michael Buckheist right here at manhour_Buck is giving you live, raw, uncut sports talk right here. Adam Anderson is a a linebacker for the University of Georgia. He can get any type of girl that he wants on the campus right now. 100%. No need to date rape. No need to get her drunk. All he can say is like, hey, I'm going to the NFL. Every 5'5" big boot girl is going to go, oh, do me, baby, right? That's just the way it is. Sorry, guys. That is just the way it is. Drew says we don't know all the facts. You are right, Drew. We don't know the facts, but the facts are that we do know is that she went with him to somebody's house. I would assume it was his house because, you know, why would you go to somebody else's house to have sex, whatever? So I assumed the girl, unnamed, and Adam Anderson went back to his place after drinking at a party, after having a good time, obviously communicating, talking to one another. And then the facts are that she says that she got raped as well. Those are the facts that we know. Also, we also know other facts is that the Georgia police is not jumping to conclusions. This guy hasn't been arrested. Normally when actually I don't know normally like at all, but I feel like if a woman said this guy raped me, you know the guy's name, you know the guy's address, his phone number, etc., I feel he would be at least detained, right, and formally charged and let the justice and let the due process happen, right? I get that. So obviously we don't know all the facts. And Infinity Sports says, not necessarily true on domestic violence. Police interview and inspect all parties. They don't automatically haul away the man. You are right, Wayne. They don't automatically haul away the man. But in my experience, I had a friend of mine, his wife literally punched him in the face over and over and over, and he was recording the whole thing, Wayne. He was recording the whole thing. She knocked the phone out of his hand. He goes down to pick up his phone, and she comes to attacks him, and he puts his hand up to defend her. His hand hit him right there, left the bruise on her upper chest, like right below her neck. The guy was arrested because he was defending himself and left a mark. So, whatever you say about that. And then Infinity Sports says, can't say she was asking for it. I won't say he is guilty, nor will I say she is lying. Gotta let it play out. Okay? So, Wayne, let me bring up that comment here. You said you got to let it play out. Okay, let's be honest. She can be totally lying out of her butt. She could not even have intercourse with this guy whatsoever. Just say, hey, this guy raped me. Adam Anderson's career is over. He has been suspended indefinitely from the University of Georgia without even being charged with anything. This is all hearsay at the end of the day. Do you think NFL teams are going to touch him? Absolutely not. Dwayne, we just talked about this. How can he make him? Adam Anderson won't be able to make the NFL any money because of this rape allegation. So we can let it play out all you want, but this guy's career is over. His college career is over. He will probably never play another snap for the Georgia Bulldogs for the rest of the season. He is a senior, played over 4 games. His eligibility is over. He will never play another college snap. Without the tape that he needs and this rape allegation on his record that probably won't be solved until after the NFL draft, he won't be drafted. He will lose millions of dollars. This guy's career is over because of an allegation. So to say you got to let it play out, I do agree, but at the same time, anytime a man gets accused of rape, his life is over. It could be a 100% total lie, absolutely false statement here. And then Drew says there is no such thing as a normal case. You are right, Drew. There is no such thing as a normal case, but there are, normal due processes, like I said. So Levante Collins made the NFL was under investigation for killing his girlfriend. Killing and rape is two different things there, though, Wayne. Obviously there are killers in the NFL. Let's look at Aaron Hernandez. Names comes to mind. You are a Patriots guy. You know him very, very, very well. Just because you are under investigation of killing does not mean you are getting accused of rape. Like, I would go out on a limb and say that being accused of rape is more harmful to your life, your career, your future, than being investigated of a killing. Just because when like you are accused of it, whether it's totally false or not proven in the court of law, that accusement is still there. You have still been accused. You have still put yourself in the wrong time, the wrong place at the wrong time, right? Now, just because you are being investigated and being killed or being a murderer, right? Let's say my girlfriend were to die unexpectedly in my house. She falls and hits her head and there's blood everywhere, right? Obviously, I'm going to be investigated for murder because she died when I was here, right? That's just the way that's just the way it is. So I want to move on from this. So guys, let's take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little Tyrod Taylor and the Houston Texans. That's right. Tyrod Taylor has earned his starting job back, guys. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buck is headed with Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and sure check out the merchandise page. If you got BC merch happening over there, guys, please. My bad, boys. I thought this freeze that we got here in Southern Indiana would take away those allergies, but apparently not. But I do see a new chatter in there here. He says, RamseyKennedy.rk@gmail.com says, bring Odell Beckham Jr. to the Saints. Who dat nation? if he gets cut, I mean, that would probably be the best bet for him. I mean, Michael Thomas is out, and you guys got who's your quarterback now? Simeon, right, or whatever his name is. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, Odell Beckham Jr. would be a great fit for the Saints. We talked about that earlier. So, Ramsey, if you missed any part of the show whatsoever, be sure to head to youtube.com/fanhour. Hit that subscribe button. I'll upload the clip sometime tomorrow. Probably at 8 a.m. is when I'll upload that Odell Beckham Jr. clip about that. But guys, if you are new here, be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, iTunes, of course, iHeartRadio. Also, you can find Wayne G at Recast Podcast on the old Twitter machine. Readcast 2.0 is Wayne G's podcast. He is here every Thursday at 8:30 East Coast time. He gives us four or five topics to debate with. That's debatable with like Wayne G. Drew comes as I think Tori and I need to fill in you and how investigations are ran. You know what, Drew? You do that, man. You bring that heat to me. You tell me how things are done. Because I'm a realist, and I can tell you it's probably false. I lived in the Breonna case, or in the Breonna Taylor case thing, right? I'm totally kidding. I'm trying to poke those buttons here, like a little bit, guys. But we had talked some Odell Beckham Jr. We had that's debatable with like Wayne G. We've talked some Adam Anderson as well. But it is time to talk back into the NFL here, and let's talk a little Tyrod Taylor and the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans quarterback Tyrod Taylor will start Sunday versus the Miami Dolphins. Coach David Coley said Thursday. Guys, Tyrod Taylor has not played since week number 2, the second quarter, when he got injured. I believe it was his left hamstring. He got injured versus the Cleveland Browns. This is back when the Cleveland Browns were playing great football. Coley said Thursday that there haven't been any setbacks with Tyrod Taylor's hamstring injury, and that he will be the quarterback is finally healthy enough to play on Sunday. Okay. Tyrod Taylor will be playing Sunday versus the Miami Dolphins. Davis Mills has been holding down the fort since week 2. We're going into week 9 here, so he has played roughly about 5.5-6 games here moving forward. And he is a rookie quarterback that got thrown in the fire with absolutely nobody on this team. Dumpster fire, the Houston Texans, and you're going to put him in for Tyrod Taylor. Why not let Davis Mills take some more lumps and grow and be the franchise quarterback that you guys kind of drafted him to be? Davis Mills so far this season, guys, has 1,357 yards with an average 6.5 passing yards per play. 7 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I mean, not great. That's about like a 1-to-1 ratio, almost there, with a quarterback rating of 80.2. With that being said, you guys know who else has about 1,300 yards passing on this season? Lamar Jackson. That's right. So you are telling me that Davis Mills is on same passing pace as you guys' MVP as Lamar Jackson, and you're going to sit him down for Tyrod Taylor? Come on, man. Like, I know Tyrod Taylor was projected to be this backup or the starter for this season. I'd say backup because Deshaun Watson was obviously the starter. And as a new coach, David Coley, you don't want to ruffle any feathers in the locker room or whatever. And, of course, your team is already dumpster fire anyway, so why not put Tyrod punctured lunged in there like himself? But if you think Tyrod Taylor gives you the best formula to beat the 1-7 Miami Dolphins, go for it. Or guys, how about this? Is David Coley being smart? Is he playing for the future? Is he playing for a top 5 pick in this year's NFL draft because he knows Tyrod Taylor sucks? Could be. I doubt it. But it definitely could be. Maybe he's not that dumb after all. I mean, 1-7 versus 1-7. Probably the loser of this game will get the number 2 overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft. Which Man Hour is going to, guys? Do you guys want to come with us to Vegas with the draft? Simply become a 5-9 member. You automatically get entered into that Vegas trip, and we'll go there in April. Drew says, LOL. I'm not for sure what you're laughing about, Drew, but Tyrod Taylor is not very good quarterback, although Soup Boss does say he is a Hall of Famer quarterback, so we'll see how that goes. And then Alpha Rob says, check down, Tyrod is back. Hates him in Buffalo. Alpha Rob, you are a Buffalo Bill guy, and I did forget that Tyrod Taylor was a Buffalo Bill. But without Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo, you guys would not be where you're at now there, buddy, would you? You guys wouldn't have Josh Allen. You probably wouldn't have Stephon Diggs either. Hell, you probably wouldn't even have Singletary. So you can thank Tyrod Taylor for putting you guys in the best team in the AFC, right? I mean, come on, man. Don't you be hating on your Tyrod Taylor just yet. Come on, man. Pump those brakes a little bit here. But moving forward here, guys, in the NFL world, the LA Rams have officially released Deshaun Jackson. He has went through the waiver wire, and he is officially a free agent here. Deshaun Jackson has 8 catches for 222 yards in 7 games with just 15 targets with the Rams. But Deshaun Jackson hasn't been happy. He hasn't been getting the target or the playing opportunities that he wanted in LA. Guys, Deshaun Jackson is a 34-year-old over-the-hill wide receiver that still thinks he is a GOAT. Not going to happen, big guy. Now, he does have a great career. 620 catches, 10,877 yards, 57 touchdowns in his career, averaging 17.5 yards per catch. He does have a 75-yard catch in week 3 of this NFL season. So I got to ask you this question. Does any team in the NFL need services of Deshaun Jackson? Does any team in the NFL need a 34-year-old wide receiver that still thinks he's 25, that still thinks he is a very valuable part of any NFL team, thinks that can use him? There might be some teams out there that want to reach out to him. Maybe Saints, maybe. The Saints could use a old receiver that could. No, they don't. The Saints don't need a Deshaun Jackson. They are nickel and diming people down the field all they want right now, and it's Alvin Kamara's team. Deshaun Jackson would just take away from Alvin Kamara's touches, and they don't want that. Does Deshaun Jackson fit in Kansas City? I mean, Andy Reid, Deshaun Jackson, the Eagles' days kind of come back, and maybe they touch the magic a little bit. No, that's not going to happen either, is it? They already got, what's his face? They got that tight end from the Jets. They got all the depth they can need, right? Chiefs need defensive help, not freaking offensive receivers help. I mean, where can Deshaun Jackson go? Does he go back to Philly? Does he go to the New England Patriots? I mean, Bill Belichick, we just talked to Wayne G from Recast Podcast 2.0 at Recast Podcast on Twitter machine. Could Deshaun Jackson go to New England Patriots and re-amp that offense, give him that deep ball threat for Mac Jones? Could be. You never know. I mean, there was another 34-year receiver that went there, Randy Moss, right? For a 4th-round pick. This would be like a prove-it $1 million deal that him and Cam Newton signed like last year, right? So I'm calling it now. Deshaun Jackson to the New England Patriots. Doesn't start this week. Starts next week, and the Patriots do go 11-6, like Wayne G said. There you go. Breaking news, guys, here on the Man Hour. But guys, we are going to open up here for the last 3 minutes of the show for shot talk and news around the league here. So if you guys want to talk about anything, let me know, and we will definitely be talking about it here a little bit. Let me find some good music to turn to. There we go. Sunny Travel is always a good music here. As my allergies start to kick my ass, guys, I really apologize here. All right, so let's end the show here with some news around the league here. So Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, which injured his calf versus the Patriots a couple weeks ago, was a full participant in practice today. Prescott told reporters to say that it is safe to say that he will be playing on Sunday versus Denver. Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, receiver CeeDee Lamb did not practice today. Coach Mike McCarthy said earlier that Lamb was expected to be limited after spraining his ankle Wednesday. Also, tight end Blake Jarwin hurt his hip, and offensive tackle Tyron Smith ankle remained out and will be missing this week's game versus the Denver Broncos. The Green Bay Packers said Coach Matt LaFleur announced that Davante Adams has returned from the COVID-19 list, and he will be playing Sunday versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Offensive tackle Dennis Kelly was again limited in practice, while defensive lineman Kingsland Kelk concussion remained out. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert was a full participant in Thursday practice after being limited on Wednesday. Rookie quarterback Asante Samuel Jr. did not practice for the second day in a row. He has a concussion. Buffalo Bills safety Jordan Poyer and offensive lineman Joe Flacco and Cole Beasley did not practice today. Beasley and Flacco also sat out Wednesday, will not be expected to play on Sunday. Colts activate receiver Desmond Payton from injury reserve list, so look for some more receiver help for the Indianapolis Colts. The Chargers linebackers Kenneth Murray was designated and returned from injury reserve as well. Tennessee Titans Julio Jones and defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons and linebacker Dud Dupree were again listed as limited at practice. They only took few steps with first team players today. New Orleans Saints safety Malcolm Jenkins was upgraded from did not play to limited, while quarterback Taysom Hill, which has a concussion, was a full participant after being limited yesterday in practice. So look to see Taysom Hill get some reps here on Sunday, maybe even start for quarterback. So fantasy guys, be sure to put Taysom Hill in your lineup if you guys have him as the flex guy. Kansas City Chiefs defensive end Chris Jones was a full participant in practice after being limited Wednesday, and Mike Reimers remained out, which is offensive lineman. Texans quarterback Tyrod Taylor was cleared to play in Week 9, as we talked about here. Minnesota Vikings plays center Garrett Bradbury on the COVID list. Linebacker Anthony Barr and cornerback Danzer were limited in practice and will miss Sunday's game as well. Here's some big news for you guys. Quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, Tua, and receiver Devontae Parker and Jerome Baker did not practice today. So will Tua play on Sunday? Only time will tell. Baltimore Ravens receiver Sammy Watkins was limited in practice after sitting out Wednesday. Surprise that. Sammy Watkins is out again. Alpha Rob, you know all about Sammy Watkins being injured all the time, right? Quarterback Sam Darnold had a concussion and a shoulder injury, was limited in practice again today. So look for him to play on Sunday, but be very limited on Friday practice as well. And Kyler Murray for the Arizona Cardinals and DeAndre Hopkins did not practice on Thursday. That's some kind of big news here, but I mean, it is late in the season. Kind of big news here a little bit, I guess. And the New York Jets placed the defensive lineman Bryce Huff on injured reserve list. So, guys, that is going to be it for the Man Hour tonight. That's to quickly wrap up for the news around the NFL, as we do like try to each and every Thursday show with some NFL news here for each team. And, guys, as always, thank you guys for being a part here of Man Hour Nation. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe as well, hit that bell icon. Share this with a couple friends as we try to get the community growing bigger and bigger each and every day here, guys. So as always, thank you from the bottom of my heart. manhour_buck on the Twitter machine if you want to follow me on Twitter. But guys, Man Hour Nation, rise up. See you Sunday.